Hello and welcome everybody. Welcome to the webinar day. My name is Anya Chrisanthon and I am with Anewgo. And of course, you guys already know John Lee. We're excited to present our IBS session. So if you guys didn't get a chance to see our presentations at IBS, you missed it, or maybe you didn't go to IBS altogether, no worries, because we're here to tell you what you've missed. So today we're really going to talk about AI, how it's affecting new home marketing and sales specifically. John's going to take you through a very interesting presentation of some of the practical applications of what you can be doing right now with AI. And he's going to talk about why it's happening, how it's going to affect marketing and new home sales in general. And then at the very end, I'm going to talk to you very quickly about what can marketing, salespeople, as well as leadership can do specifically now in order to prepare for this coming change. We do have a ton of information to get through, so we're going to try to do it in an hour's time, and I'm going to hand it over to John to kick things off.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen here. I'm John Lee. I'm the CEO of Anewgo. For those of you who don't know us, we're a prop tech software company primarily for the new home industry. We create renderings, virtual tours. We create marketing channels. We create apps to let people design it. Anya is our CCO, our Chief Communications Officer. And I'm just going to get rolling since we're a little bit behind here. We all know in the last couple of years, it's gotten to be a smarter world, but it's not just a smarter world. It's actually become a more intelligent world. And that's going to have huge impacts on marketing and sales. Particularly in the tech world, there's really two elements that really like pedals to kind of keep everything rolling, and that's the hardware and the software side. As hardware advances, then software now steps in and it pushes the pedal forward. Hardware, way back when this whole tech digital age started, was with the internet. When the internet opened up the software capabilities for websites and SEO and social media, and e-commerce and all that kind of stuff. So on the hardware side, you've seen a plethora of smart devices come online in the last 10 years, and they all call themselves smart, whether it's a smart TV or your smart appliance or your smartphone or your smartwatch. But it was a very broad term for smart in the sense that it was just smart because it was connecting you with the internet. So now you have the World Wide Web at your fingertips, but it really wasn't intelligent. It really didn't understand your intent, can have a personalized conversation, have memory, help you compare things, evaluate things, bring in all this expertise, synthesize all this information from multiple sources. This is one of the big differences. Now we're moving toward artificial intelligence, not just smart devices. And on the software side, that's allowed a lot of dumb software things like search engines, which just kind of use algorithms to bring you to a website, or browsers to help you find things, and even databases. And databases could be everything from your systems to PDFs to Excel spreadsheets. All that stuff was disparate. It wasn't connected. The AI, one of the beautiful things about it is it's able to synthesize all these things, even videos from different sources, and make it into one personalized conversation. The last couple of years, which really changed everything, was generative AI. And generative AI is allowing users, consumers, even employees to generate content. That was something that was unprecedented. Before, you were only able to really search and find things, but you weren't really able to create and generate, and definitely not at a massive scale, and definitely not multimodally, which is voice, text, and visual. This is what's happening now that's really transforming, and this is becoming the agentic AI age. All this stuff that's been happening in the last couple of years, where you're creating all this great content, it really didn't change the shopping behavior. It was really more for the user. It really didn't transform your business. It didn't transform the shopping customer journey. But agentic AI can, because not only taking that generative AI content, but it's now able to become your personal assistant and walk you down that customer journey. And on the sales side, help you develop a sales platform, sales training, become more efficient, more productive. All these things that could be transformative for your business and give you a huge competitive advantage at a massive scale that you weren't able to do before. And so what's happening with smart devices is actually evolving into what I call smart cyborgs. And what are cyborgs? For some of you have heard me before, cyborgs is really what we are now. Cyborgs is really humans with mechanical or electronic extensions. So if you're sitting around with your smartwatch and your smartphone all day and night and your AirPods in, you are connected to the world, but not just connected to the world anymore. You're becoming intelligently connected to the world. Down there at the bottom now, you see where we have in the generative AI side, you had ChatGPT, Perplexity, which is a smart search engine, Gemini, which is Google reincarnated with intelligence, and Claude, which is from Amazon. Those things help you find things and stuff. But now you're starting to see the evolution to smart assistants. So Alexa just last month got a brain transplant. So now it actually can talk more than just scores and weather and play music. Same with Meta on the social media side. So if you can probably see these little Meta things come up on Facebook and Instagram. Siri is also borrowed ChatGPT's brain, so it's getting smarter with Apple Intelligence. And then Gemini, obviously with Google and search engines, are starting to change. So that smart assistance combined with your devices are going to make you super, super smart. And what that's going to also enable you to do in this hybrid of humans and machine are going to create AI buyers and sellers agents, which is going to help you through the shopping process. Wow, that was just the first slide. Now, just to go back in time here a little bit, generative AI, it's only been 2 years. This has actually transformed our business a little bit here. So a lot of people may only have a 2D CAD file or PDF of a house and has obviously no shadows, no dimensions. It looks a little flat. We're just running it through AI here. It can quickly show that you see in the middle there, a 3D version of it without the landscaping right now, but just with the architecture. It even guesses on what the materials would be, the brick, the lighting, and all that. And then I said, hey, can you show me how this would look like in the neighborhood? So it now adds on the landscaping and sunlight and the roads. So it's making a lot of projections based on what it's learned from other visual examples. But it's also giving suggestions, like to the right of the door is suggesting, hey, this would be a great place to put a window, because it knows that, hey, people probably like windows and that's a big space over there. So it could be great for architects and even for marketing people and design people to use AI to help guide you on what you can design, maybe the different possibilities. Down there at the bottom is actually a picture of an unfinished kitchen. And maybe the buyer wants to say, hey, how can I finish this out? Or maybe the architect wants to see it themselves, or designer, but they don't want to go put all this in and they have to tear it all out. So having AI just generate it on the fly there is saying, hey, okay, we think we'll probably put in a hardwood floor. It's even guessing where the appliances go. It figures out, hey, probably need under cabinet lighting. That would be nice with the backsplash. And it even lights up the glass cabinets. And it knows that the light fixtures should probably have lights illuminating in it. I thought it was going to be like a desk on the left. It's suggesting, hey, maybe a wine cooler. So it's a great way to quickly get visualizations. And even like the little groove in the column there is suggesting, hey, you can really make this attractive by putting lighting in there. So I think it could be a great architectural tool to help you out. Here's an example of generative AI where we call image to image. So it takes one image to generate another one. This is using Lombardo Homes, which is one of our clients, and we can go on there and we can design different colors. So I was just going through this little scenario with my wife and say, hey, pick some houses you like and then the color design it. And so she picked out a couple, or she picked out more than me, and I picked up one I like more modern style. Of course, in real life, you can't buy 3 houses. So you're going to have to compromise unless you want to get divorced here. So I asked AI, hey, can you blend something together that maybe we would both like? And so this is what it generated this is untouched. This is just a rendering. It may even put us rendering companies out of the business, but it gave different representations of what that house could be like with ideas I never even thought of. So it brought in some of those modern elements as well as some of the traditional elements that she liked, and she even put it in a good light. And the funny thing is, I thought it was going to help us narrow down the choices. And actually now we have six houses that we're interested in. Fortunately, we're not buying a house right now, but this is what it can do, and it's doing this on the fly. This is an example of interior rendering that we have. And if you have a photo of an interior, you can also do this as well. And those are a lot of people are asking me what AI platforms I use. I use ChatGPT, Runway ML, Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, Adobe. There's a bunch of other ones out there, but those are the ones I play around with. But I give it a reference image. And then using that reference image, it goes out and looks at other references related to that type of architecture. And so I said, hey, show me this modern kitchen in a craftsman style. And you can see it gave me 4 examples down there. Butcher block tabletop, it changed some of the fixtures, even some of the decorations in there. So it really helps you visualize what it could be in a different style. And like last year, Barbie was all the rage. So I said, hey, in case you're all crazy about Barbie, let me show you this is how it looked like. Okay, now you see it. Now you don't want it, but it's fun to play around with. Another thing you can do with generative AI is you can take from an image and make it into a video. So one of the things, say that's a lake photo up there. That's attractive. It gives a little bit of a message. Video is all the rage. You want to almost create a trailer for your community. So one of the things I did is I asked the AI here, and it's going really slow because there's so many people on here, but to have it pull out onto the lake and have a sailboat come out. So now you're really starting to convey the lifestyle. You're not just selling the house and just selling the community. You're selling their dream. You're selling their, what they can do on there. And the beautiful thing is you didn't have to fly a drone. You didn't have to wait for the perfect weather and coordinate all this stuff. This was literally done in 10 minutes. And now you can incorporate it into the website, which is our interactive website that you see over there on the left. On the right there, we have our kitchen over there. It's just a rendering. Again, you can use a photo. The nice thing is that you, instead of just having a sterile kitchen there, why don't you show it some life? And you can show it in a variety of different demographics and lifestyle usages. So what I told AI to do is, hey, have a mother and daughter come in there and come to the kitchen. The beautiful thing about the intelligence of the AI is it not only creates the motion, it knows there's an island in the front. It knows there's a reflection to a metal appliance. And I didn't have to explain that or teach it. We would have to teach somebody here and train them a long time to create that, but just doing that on the fly. Down here, the next one, we have a house in Oklahoma for Beacon Homes. It's just a rendering, but I said, hey, why not have a couple of little girls ride down the street? It's able to take the landscaping cues and be able to expand on that while also bringing a little life to the picture. So down at the bottom there's another kitchen down here. And I thought, hey, why not add a little, in case you have a dog and you have little kids. I said, have this girl come up with a pizza and then the dog. Even the dog reacts to the person. It's pretty cool because it walks up there, it can almost see she's behind it. And up in the upper right, that's our VP of sales. I put her up there because a lot of you will probably be talking to her. But that's just her headshot that she has with some reeds in the back. And I said, hey, let's bring her to life. And so here's Beth. And it's creating a video of her. So we're taking a still image, making a video, but what could be actually be cool is now you have that headshot and you can make a video of yourself because you probably can't reshoot the one that you took 5 years ago that you love, but now you can take a still image from that. So that could be another great headshot just as a frame from that video. So there's a lot of applications that you can use. This is Anya and Beth there, and they're in Pasadena, and they just took this picture together. And the nice thing about AI is not only does it know the great Instagram posts, but it recognizes their personality just from their smiles and their looks. So I asked it to, hey, create an Instagram pose. And it's even capturing Anya in her personality and Beth a little bit over there too. So I use like Luma, Vio. Vio is Spanish for IC, but that's the new one from Gemini, which is Google. And then I also use Runway ML, Kling AI, Sora. There's a lot of other ones coming out. You're not here just a little show and tell here. You actually want to learn how to make some money. So I'm trying to say, here's the formula for using AI for marketing and sales success. A lot of people know about the keys to success. I call it the P's to success, and that's over on the left. In your organization, you want to be the leader. You want to set the standard. You want to guide everyone. But even your market, you want to be the market leader because you set the standard, you have brand recognition and scale because you're the leader. The other part that's really important to any business is the people, the products, and processes. Those are the great assets that make you money. The whole thing, if you're a great leader, you can convert those assets into cash, into money, because cash is the lifeblood of the businesses, right? That's what keeps us all going. That's what makes us all happy. If you can have that great leadership and combine that with the people, products, and processes, you can make great profits. And with profits, you have a lot of power. So that's what's happened in the physical world for centuries. You had the king, they were the king of their domain, their kingdom. They got gold, and the gold allowed them to achieve great power. And the key thing is there, once you gain all that power and those profits, you need to reinvest it and continue to reinforce your leadership position and grow more cash. Now, that's all great in the physical world, but in the last 20 years, we've seen this big migration to the digital world. And so now content is the king, and content has really elevated the role of marketing because now people finding you online, and to get to you online and to go to where you want them to go, you need to have great content, whether it's a social media influencer, where it's a great marketing description on the search engine, right keywords and great images. All that content is what would drive you to be the king of the hill in your market. Now, data is the new goal because it's all bits and bytes. And the data tells you, it's like the scope on your rifle if you're going hunting. It shows you where you should hunt and then how well you did it. Did you hit your target? If so, you need to recalibrate. All that data is now, that's why you use AdWords. That's why you use Google Analytics and all that stuff. to hone in on what's working and what's not. If you're able to do that very well, combining that content and that data, you build great knowledge. And again, knowledge is power in the digital world. Now, what's really happened in the last 2 years, and you see this acceleration from 20 years to now 2 years, AI is now making a smarter world. And when I say smarter world, is making it more intelligent. So what's happening is not only is it making it smarter, but it's able to do this at a massive scale, which is not humanly possible. So that generative content, that content is now generated by AI. It's generated, like I showed you, what would take an architect or a videographer or an artist months or a lot of hours to do, is doing it on the fly, and it's doing it in a personalized way. So now generative AI content is the king, and it's doing it 24/7. Data-driven AI is now the gold, because the AI is not only capturing the data, it's actually generating new data. Every time it generates new content, it's generating new data, and how you interact with that content is generating new data for it to analyze and learn from, because it's not just taking data to pass on to humans. It's using it for their conversation, then literally 2 seconds later, and generating that multimodal content, whether it's visual, voice, or text. Those elements put together makes AI hugely powerful in knowledge, because I think what's happened is each industry, probably each business, will have to be the master of its domain in terms of AI knowledge and power, because that will become a competitive advantage. Otherwise, it's like having average Joe competing against Superman. There's Superman powers that's happening with AI at a massive scale. And the thing is that content, that data, and that knowledge, as you move from left to right, it's increasing exponentially. All right, now, digital mass marketing revolution. Humans are still very valuable. Human marketers, they've been great at mass aggregation. So they're great at saying, everybody go watch the Super Bowl, or everybody come to the grand opening of our sales center, our model home, or whatever. So marketers have traditionally been great ushers of that audience to go to the seller. So I call it herding. They herd groups in online, because people are shopping online. They use SEO to be that herd. And that was done through actually getting people to talk like bots in a few keywords. So they put in a few keywords. It's the modern digital classified. So instead of going to the classified ad section in newspapers, you're going to put in a few keywords, and it's going to direct you into a category. The irony is the search engine gets you to the website, but once you get to the website, you're on your own again, because you had to get on your own to get there. But then when you get there, there is no search engine inside the website. So it's really a self-serve approach, very manual, very labor intensive. What AI does really well, AI marketers, and I think this is where it works hands in hand, like a cyborg, it's great at mass personalization, because you're starting with a specific personalized conversation. And what happens is the AI can now become a personal concierge for the buyer. So it's not hurting you, it's hearing you. And in doing that, it's using, instead of search engine optimization, it's using AI optimization, which it really relies more on the intent of your conversations. You may not know real estate jargon. You may not even know what you're looking for, but you may be able to drag and drop in a picture of a house that you like, or you're speaking in your own native tongue language, and it understands what you're trying to say. You may just start from describing your lifestyle needs, not necessarily the product needs. So it goes from being self-serve to how can I serve you? This is where we're going to start to raise the AI bar. A little play on words here. It's agentic AI time. Okay. And AI agents are really personal shopping assistants that really go through the online customer journey with you, which this is a very complex purchase. It's multi-session, multimodal, multi-channel. Having an AI agent available to you 24/7 that speaks your language and remembers what you talked about is going to be critical. And the way this happens is the glass is filling up. I call this IPA. It's just happened to be a great play on words there. But the IPA here, for the last couple of years, it seems like there's nothing going on. And that's what I'm sure a lot of the naysayers are out there saying. But really what happens is at the very bottom, you're starting with the infrastructure. Those are the large language models that have been built, but now we need to bring it into our industry. So remember those elements of data, content, and knowledge? Data is that pale L at the bottom that really gets the whole thing started. We actually have to brew this stuff. So the way we get the data is we have to collect it. And we've been collecting it here since 2019 across all of our builders, all of our products, and all of our channels. And then that data is used, first of all, to use it, we have to standardize, we have to structure it. So every builder, every channel is speaking the same language. And then we're able to train it, because without data, your AI, I don't care if it's Einstein or whoever, is dumb as a doorknob. And then also the data also is needed to train it. So it could know a lot of stuff, but it doesn't know how to present it or what the intent is. So that's what we're doing in the infrastructure piece, the I piece. Then after, that's great for behind the scenes, but in front of the customers, they don't care about the ones and zeros and bits and bytes. They only care about how their interface is. And that's where content comes in. That's why we have to build a platform. It's a platform that has to be multimodal and speak in, like I said, visual, text, and voice. And it needs to go across the ecosystem, all your channels, so they're all in sync. Start where you left off. Today, I want to talk by typing. Tomorrow, I want to talk by voice, and later on, I want to see it. So you need to do all those. Now we're at the place here where we got agentic AI, and this is where you can implement applications, because the applications now can create AI tools that's specific for your industry, whether it's behind the scenes to help your salespeople and your OSCs, marketing people, or on the front end to help the customer journey. And so that piece, now that we have the content to bring them in, now how they interact with them in their applications, an application is you're applying it somewhere, you collect great knowledge. Now, the way that happens is now you switch IPAs around. The way that the AI learns beyond your own domain is it needs APIs, which are application program interfaces. So when you go from IPAs to APIs, now you can actually bring the whole world into your conversation. All right, I assume you understood that. What AI is going to do is it's going to flip marketing from a seller to buyer centric. Marketing ever since I've been here since 2001 and way before that has always been about having the sellers attract the audience and directing the buyers where and how to shop. So you need to bring them in and then tell them where to go. And the buyers basically go to the seller stores and the products as directed. So when you're back in the print era, you had these classified ads that you had to pick up on Sunday and go through it. And then it tells you, hey, call me up or go here. That's how I directed. It was all generated by the seller. Either they did themselves or they outsourced it, okay? And basically it's driving you through print to go to the stores. In the digital age, we took all those classified ads and digitized them. So basically we brought all that content into your websites, but the bad thing, I guess, is it's still all generic stuff. It's not every house that you can design and buy and price and everything. It's just a representation, again, to drive you to go talk to someone or go to the store. And the store became the website as a starting place. So that became the new digital platform. And it was still seller generated. That's why when we had Rendering House, when we started, we provided a lot of that content, that static content for physical stores and websites. Then in the 2010s or so with iPhones and everything, and then this is where Zillow kind of took off and Realtor.com, they started creating portals. And portals, one of the big advantages of them versus all the Realtor websites is they created an app because everybody started using mobile and Facebook and Amazon, people using apps. And the portals allowed you to shop across many builders at once instead of going one by one based on SEO. In that scenario here, when we created apps, not only do we create a better user interface, but here we're able to now let the buyers generate the content. So you instead of just having us create one static rendering, the buyer can sit there and design the exterior colors, design their interactive floor plans and see the prices change, choose the home site. That drove a lot of engagement, which was great. But now in the AI world, and you can see each market signified by those bubbles gets bigger and bigger. So even though you're entering a new technology, every technology expands your marketplace because now more and more people are getting on board because they like that experience. In the AI world, what happens, it flips around and the buyers now direct their AI agents to shop for them. They have AI surrogates that do the shopping because frankly, a lot of people don't want to shop all day long for this stuff. And sellers now have to bring the products to the buyer's portal into their conversation, which is a whole unique channel. The AI conversation channel is a totally new channel and it's private. It's personalized to them. It's not something you create over a year and direct everybody to. And that with ChatGPT down there and some guy's hands, you have that with Alexa now. Basically, the bots are going to bring the houses to them. And so what's happening is now a lot of that content is generated by the AI and say, let me suggest for you what I think what wine would pair great with that fish. And then you start as a buyer, you start with that recommendation. This is actually going to change the sales funnel because each new technology paradigm creates a new and larger marketing channel. Like I said earlier, And the new one becomes the new top of funnel because it's becoming more personalized. People gravitate to more personalized experiences. So at the very beginning there, when print was on top, it was the paper channel, and that was human first. You're appealing to humans, and it had to be print friendly because if you couldn't print it out, nobody saw it. Digital websites become the second level, and that's been dominating for the last 2 decades. And it's still human first, but it's dependent upon SEO to drive you there, not your newspaper boy. And the market got bigger, which is good. It opened up to the whole, not just your local market of local newspaper, but now the whole country, the world. Apps took it to a marketplace level. Now you have, and then also took it to mobile, but it's still human first. Now AI comes in here, and that's where you have this dotted line here where you actually have artificial intelligence. AI now controls the conversation because one big thing that's better than the portals and the websites, it's pulling from both and it's synthesizing that into a conversation that's meaningful to you individually and private and multi-session. You don't need to keep going back to the portal or the website because it only talks to you about what you care about. And therefore, your content, your data needs to be AI first, and it needs to be AI friendly, because what's going to happen is the AI agent is now going to be the top of the funnel, and not just the top of the funnel. And it's a bigger market. You can see the bubble has gotten bigger because it's speaking all languages 24/7 around the world. It's going to be your AI agent assistant, like a real estate agent in a sense, on online world throughout the funnel, throughout your entire customer journey. The crazy part for marketing and sales is you actually cannot just choose one of those. You have to do all the above. We still do stuff for people that print out stuff and hand out things. You got to do all the above or you're going to lose an audience. As much as I talk about trying to improve the customer journey and the customer experience, it's really a fallacy that people even want to go on a journey. So what we really want to do is eliminate the shopping journey with agentic AI. And how do you do that? Some of us have held taxis before, and now we just do ride sharing with Uber. When you do it yourself through keyword searches, you have to constantly do it, okay? And you always have this fear of missing out because you don't know, just like hailing a taxi. If I walk all the way to that major boulevard, is a taxi going to drive by? And do I really want to go out in the pouring rain? Or is there already a line out there and I have to look better than somebody else? Is it going to pick me up? There's all this risk and you're doing it yourself. In the AI match and notify world is, and I'll show you examples here, you just put in what you're looking for and the AI does the search just like on Uber. It will go match the driver with the rider, the destination, the price, and maybe the ratings that you want. So you don't have that fear of missing out. There's no more FOMO. You can sit in Starbucks, have your coffee. And so what happens for the buyer is this is one of the big worst parts of the customer journey of buying a new home. People have the American dream of buying a new home, but the process to get there is a nightmare. This reduces those risks, frustrations, the time, and the cost of that terrible customer journey. This one's going to need a little bit of a breather here because I think you've probably never seen this, and this is a lot to digest. In the new AI world, there's actually going to be three audiences, three shoppers. There's going to be the human shoppers, which is 100% right now. There's going to be the AI assisted shoppers. Those are the ones that, hey, I still want to go and I still want to look them up myself, but when I have a question about something I don't know about, or if I need some calculations on financing or something like that, or I need to get a loan approved, I need that AI assistant to help me there. Because frankly, a lot of the millennials, they're not used to calling people up. They're more DIY. I'll figure it out myself. And then there's in the future, autonomous AI, which you just tell it what to do and it goes and does it for you. So there's a legend I put down here at the bottom. The blue part is really where the marketing people function right now, really top of the funnel. And then the sales part is lower in the funnel. And then what I say is the major steps in the shopping journey. The buyers need to find it. And if you design a home, you can design it online. We create apps to do that. You can collaborate, whether it's with your co-buyer or your realtor or your salesperson. And then you can experience those things online with virtual tours, but you can also experience it on self-guided tours. You can also experience it with the salesperson walking around, and then you can buy it with the salesperson. So there's halfway through this thing between marketing and sales is this transition point of going from online to offline. And the OSCs on the seller side, online sales consultants, they're that transition point to direct you in the right community with the right salesperson. That's a long process. It's a lot of handoffs. A lot of things get to fall between the cracks. The other bad thing is this looks like a coffee filter in the sense that, and we saw this during COVID times here, where you have a flood of people that are looking and you only have so many OSCs during waking hours that can We filter them in a sense. And often the filter gets clogged up with ugly leads because you get good, bad, and ugly leads, and you have to triage which ones are the ugly leads. And the ugly leads are usually the ones that take up most of your time. And then the good leads go away or they go somewhere else. What we want to do, and there's still going to be a value for this, but through that whole thing, you filter out money, right? You filter out sales. In the AI assisted world, it's a little half and half, that's the way I like my coffee, with a little creamer. But it has the human part and then has AI assistant. So the AI, that helps them at the top of the funnel, especially if you're in a conversation on channel. You're not shopping using SEO and going to every website. The AI assistant is helping with the find part. It may even help you with the design part, like I was showing you earlier. Give me some suggestions because I'm really not good with colors. And then what could happen is you can collaborate with the OSCs. Now, the OSCs could be fully human, or it could be a human, it could be an AI assistant to the OSCs. It's not to really replace the OSCs per se, but it can handle some things that the OSC doesn't really want to handle or doesn't really know, or during off hours or where they're on break or whatever. So I think you're going to see a combination of a hybrid OSC sales assistant that helps their human manager. That allows the online journey to stay more online because that's where the customers want to do. And then really when they go offline is really a very curated, high intent, high likelihood conversion and you still meet with the salesperson to walk through the neighborhood. I think that could generate more money because one of the things in the funnel is the funnel's mouth is much bigger because now you open up to a bigger audience and it can process more. But that doesn't work unless the outlet for it is also wider. So the way we do that is because the AI can handle a lot of things that the humans would get clogged up in because you just don't simply have enough personnel. And hopefully you cover that audience. And then the way in the future, which the way things are going now could be next year, autonomous AI, where at the beginning, I want an Uber experience. I'm just going to tell you what I'm looking for. I'll tell you my needs, my wants, my desires, my constraints, my lifestyle. And I don't want to go meet with every salesperson. I don't want to go to every website. I don't even know where to go. I don't want to click on a million things. I'm just going to have AI do it. And then AI, once it finds out and recommends some things I like in my conversation, I may have it help me design it. And then I'll maybe, if I want to keep talking to an AI seller's assistant, then there's a AI sales agent that can help me out. And then even the salesperson may even have a sales assistant that's AI for them that, hey, they're engaged, but I don't have time to answer them. I'm on vacation. I don't know much about financing. It can maybe supplement that. And hopefully that will pull in through more sales. The big difference is you see the filter, it gets wider and wider. At the beginning, it's very tight filter. Things get clogged up. The second one, there's a little bit more fast pass for the ones that use AI assistants. And then the other one, everybody's online all the time. The only difference is whether you're off-site or on-site, but you're always online. So how do you migrate toward this? There's a website AI migration path that if you don't do this, you probably can't do the latter two audiences. Basically, you're going to have my agent. I'll have my agent talk to yours. Okay. So that's when the AI agents, they speak app. They actually have their own language, which somebody created. It's called gibberish because humans don't understand it. But basically, when the AI can speak in their own native tongue to each other in bits and bytes, it's 80% more accurate, faster, and lower cost because it doesn't have to translate into human languages. But that aside, if you still want to talk human to human, you can still do that. But it could start the conversation could have started from AI to AI. Now, the reason we got into website channels is we are not creating websites like traditional websites, which are all static generic. We're creating it for AI world where it needs to be interactive, it needs to be personalized, it needs to be dynamic. And so all the websites right now, they qualify for AI because AI has scraped your website. So it is SEO friendly. I would call it AI friendly. It's great for human shopping. It has generative AI capabilities, has search engine bots. It's been pre-trained by the internet over the last few years. So what happens, the bot scrapes and crawls your website and all that static content, but it only generates static content and because that's all it sees. It sees that you only have a red house, so it thinks you only build red houses. So you can't blame it for hallucinating because that's all you showed. And it can give you an element of personalized human marketing. You can have a conversation with it, but if you only show certain things, it only explains certain things. What we want to do is now make the websites and the content interactive and AI friendly. So more than AI friendly, AI enabled. And AI enabled allows AI assisted shopping, like I was describing. And that's where you can introduce agentic AI. And that's where the buyers direct their shopping assistants. And then they still have the final approval. The AI will bring everything. It's like your servant in a sense. It brings everything. And I don't like this one. I like this one, whatever. But what happens with that is the AI accesses the web apps, website's proprietary content, product content. So it's actually looking into your database of all your prices, your lot availability, and all that. And so it's not hallucinating. That gives a more personalized human marketing and sales experience with AI assistants. And ultimately, for autonomous AI, you need to make your website AI first. And that allows the AI to go really shopping and not hallucinate. And that's using in the future artificial general intelligence, where it starts to have some aptitude and reasoning and understanding and intent. It learns and acts autonomously with the goal. You give it a goal and then it goes and does that. And it can do that in a multimodal way, multilingual way. And now it's doing a lot of the legwork or grunt work, at least at the top of the funnel. This is where the AI is actually going to be both a seller's agent and a buyer's agent. It's actually a dual agent. It's a dual agent because it's a matchmaker. Traditionally, obviously, buyers shop the builders. But what we're going to do with AI is allow the builder to shop the buyers, because the builders could say, this is like a match.com for houses instead of spouses. The builder says, this is not my ideal client, or this is the product I'm pushing, or this is the price point I'm looking for, or this is the profit margin I'm looking for. Let the AI find the right audience to now bring the right buyers to you. So higher intent, higher conversion, better profitability. And what it's doing in these marketing and sales functions, the blue is really what marketing does, is attract the audience, engage the customer at the top of the funnel. Sales really does the bottom, curate the leads and convert the sales. Agentic AI can now bring in its capabilities and help the seller's agent, help the seller and the buyer. On the create content piece, it helps the seller create all those wonderful personalized content and attractive videos, all those things I was showing you earlier. But unlike current sales journey, it brings sales to the top of the funnel. How does it bring that? Because usually sales starts when you have a conversation. You're starting out with the conversation. That's why it shortens that funnel that I was showing you earlier. Every funnel gets shorter as you use more autonomy, just like you use Uber. It's better than you calling up a taxi cab company and asking them to meet you somewhere and everything. And now when you get to engaging the customer, because it's not only working toward what the customer has defined that it wants, it's looking at every buyer profile that is like that. Because I've looked at a million of you guys, and I've looked at a million homes that you bought. The people like you also like this. So I know how to engage you, how to appeal to you. So it really gives you that personalized experience that on behalf of the seller. And then on the buyer, it gives them that recommendation that they really want, because it's still a complex purchase. And then what it does, obviously we want to run a business here, it wants to optimize that process. So it looks at what your availability is, what you're struggling with in terms of sales. So what it's nudging is as a dual matchmaker, it's helping the seller guide the buyer toward what they want to sell. That buyer is willing to sit in the middle seat and they're willing to pay a premium for it, great. And then on the buyer side, hey, I don't care about sitting in the middle seat. Consult to me, I'll buy it because it's a good deal. And so it optimizes on both sides. And then on the conversion part, tying this with fintech and digital signatures and digital payments, it converts things faster. Let's close the deal, and it automates that whole process. And so for the seller, that translates into more profit, which is what the sellers want. And for the buyer, it translates to a better experience. And then actually, this helps out the sales side in that one builder's trash is another one's treasure. So why not push the ugly leads for me to be your good lead? In a sense, that builder is happy, and I've actually eliminated competition by keeping them full while they pass their ugly leads, which is my treasure, over to me. And then what's going to happen is, beyond that, the AI buyer's agent speaks to other industries' sellers' agents. So in this scenario here, instead of going and typing in keywords and visiting every website, instead of even going to every app and registering and telling everything about you and putting your credit card and all that kind of stuff, you're just going to speak in a natural language. Get me a ride to the airport, push my Zoom meeting back an hour, order our favorite pizza from home delivery at 6, and notify my family. Any movie recommendations? So what happens is your personal concierge AI, which is they're going to call it like an executor agent, it makes a call out to all the other agents AIs, and it brings them into the conversation to make that natural command happen, because they all speak to each other behind the scenes. I'm going to play a little voice here. I'm going to give you a little setup here. This is using Notebook LM, which is by Google. And basically what I told it to do was go to Garmin's website, Garmin Home's website, one of our clients, and just learn everything about it. Now I could also watch all its YouTube videos. I could learn all the PDFs, take all the PDFs from their warranties and learn all about that. But I just asked it to go and study the website. Now, the beautiful thing is it's now giving me a summary of that website in the podcast. So this is a great way to audit your own site. But the nice thing is I can interrupt. That join button over on the left. Anytime I want to interrupt, and this is great because AI doesn't care that you interrupt. Humans, you have to say, oh, sorry, excuse me. And I can just, I call it free expression in any direction. I can freely express whatever I want, and I can take the conversation in any direction. And this is like the super chat bot. I'll play it here. Let's just hear.
We're hoping that by looking at Garment Homes together, someone wants to join. Hey, go for it.
Hey guys, I'm John, and I'm interested in Garment Homes in Raleigh, North Carolina. Do they have any homes there?
Hi, John. Thanks for tuning in. Yes, they absolutely do have homes in Raleigh.
Yeah, John, great to hear from you. So they have a couple of communities in the Raleigh area. One's called Allen Park.
And that's in Raleigh itself for an urban feel.
They also have Serenity, which is in Fuquay Varina.
And then Wendell Falls in.
All right, I'm going to stop there because we're running out of time here, but that would be a great thing to have on your website to introduce it, or in your sales center and talk about it, whatever. This other one here is from Sesame. And what I like about it is the cadence, the style. It starts to sound more like a human and salesperson. And it has great memory in that I've already talked to it before. His name is Miles, and he knows what I'm all about. And so when I come back, he welcomes me, just like on a customer journey. You're starting where you left off. And I also have 11 labs there where you can take your voice and make a synthetic version of it in case you want to use one of your own salespeople. It's great for self-guided tours, chat bots, online sales counselors, Q&As. You can even do it for sales training, like it was trying to train me on how to do sales. I'll let you listen to it.
Look at you, calling back already. Didn't think I scared you off last time, did I? What's up?
Yeah. Hey, Miles.
So what fed your curious mind this time? Anything new brewing in the world of AI housing assistance?
Yeah, I was thinking about using AI in our community sales centers. So when the buyer comes in, they can learn about the plans and the amenities in the community. What do you think?
Huh, that's interesting. Kind of like a virtual tour guide, eh? I bet you could weave in some local insights too. The best coffee shop nearby, the hidden park everyone's talking about. Make it personal. People dig that.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I've always been fascinated by how humans make a place feel like home, more than just bricks and mortar.
Yeah, and I thought that it would be great since you know so much about the floor plans. All right, well, we can listen to that later. I want to keep going on here. So now that when I'm talking about the AI assistants, what we can do here is you can just start out on your website, ask me anything about buying a new home. So it's like it's leave it to them whether they want to discuss instead of having a chatbot quiz of decision trees. And so what happens here is this is actually available on ChatGPT now. So you say, I want to build a new home around Wentzville, Missouri for 400,000, 600,000. What happens is, what builders do that and where can it build? So now ChatGPT is already built in their maps. So you can actually see it in list form, all the communities, all the builders, or you can switch it to map form because location is important. So what happens is now as a buyer, you can just go click on whatever. I like McBride Homes. I want to learn about that community. You direct a cascading conversation to drive to the website. So they're learning about you and your products in their conversation, but ultimately, once they're happy, tell me more about McBride Homes, Wilmer Valley community, and it tells them more about that. Eventually, they click on one of these links to go to your website. So that when they get to your website, they're much more curated. Now, once they get to your website, you want to continue that conversation. So what you want to do here, and in the website, the content generates the conversation. So you see the house that I showed earlier, and then on the conversation, I have 2 kids and a dog. We love the outdoors and cooking. How is this a good match for our family? And then it gives a personalized marketing description about that house. So instead of having a generic overarching marketing description, you can now let the AI carry the conversation in a meaningful way to that particular buyer. And then it also can generate content back. Oh, you're probably like this kind of color scheme and these kind of floor plan options and all that. You can even have it so now the AI can do some of the selling. So if you get to the product page on your site, oh, these are different things we have. We open floor plans, in-law suites, multi-purpose rooms. So what happens is now the buyer comes in and they can choose which they want the open floor plan. So now it'll only show the floor plans that have that concept, that design. And now they can have conversations about, oh, great choice, Discovery Dream Home. And then I can ask, are there any options on this floor plan? And it pulls in all those options related to the floor plan style they have. So you're starting with the product as opposed to them trying to go through hundreds of products, read all these floor plans. And then they start the conversation from there. This is really what's going to happen in the future. So what happens is that AI, it knows your IP address and knows where you're starting from. So then it starts with the content on the left, and then it continues that conversation on the right. So it says, hey, oh, they're from San Francisco. Now, what happens is in your conversation, the AI greets you, hi there, how can I assist you with your new home search today? And then as the buyer specifies, I'm moving to Raleigh, it doesn't have to move there. It may not even know where Raleigh is, but the AI will take them there. So what's happening is you're having the conversation, the map, the content, everything is derived from wherever you're taking it in the conversation, and vice versa. As you click on places on the map, here on the left, on the right, it's describing, oh, I want 3-bedroom, 3.5 beds, no less than 2750. And so what time frame? Oh, in December. So it suggests which communities that you want. Now on the right here, you say, okay, I like the Autumnwood. Now it takes you to Autumnwood. And then from that personalization, you can go to customization where you can customize it. I'm going to skip that because some of you already know how you can customize houses with us. This is an autonomous AI shopping agent. This is something we created, but OpenAI has created this with Operator and Task about a month ago. So on the left here, I say AI agent, go search for New Home Inc. website, and then find a quick move-in home in Lillington, North Carolina. On the left, that is showing the programmatically, but on the right, what the AI is doing, it actually uses a Google search to find New Home Inc. website. It's going and reading all the filters and everything, and finding that particular house. That would have normally taken me a long time to do. Now, just last week here, and I'm going to pass this over to Anya here. Manus, which has created this autonomous AI agent, it now not only shops one particular website, it can shop across all the portals and websites. So I only do one prompt here. I'm looking for a new construction home in Raleigh, North Carolina, preferably in Cary, Apex, or Holly Springs area. Trying to mix it up a little bit. My budget is $600,000, $800,000. I would like it to be in a community with a pool and have a screen porch and outdoor kitchen. I'm looking for at least 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, and 3,000 square feet. You can see over there on the right, it already knows all the sites it needs to go visit. Zillow, Realtor.com, Raleigh Realty, Toll Brothers, New Home Source, all this stuff. So it's shopping all those, and that executor agent is subbing this out to sub agents that's going to do all this stuff. And what it does, it browses, navigates, and it clicks, and it does all the, like you can see over here in Zillow, you can see on the right, it's actually going to the map, it's actually changing the filters and doing all this stuff. So what's happening is the AI is doing all the legwork. I can go have a cup of coffee, come back in about 10 minutes, and that's what did all that. And at the end, it creates a report comparing them all. It gives a list. So I didn't waste any of my time. And if it encounters a registration, like a login through CAPTCHA, it actually prompts me, do you want to register? Do you want to take control? If not, I can go around it. I'll go search community websites. I'll go search realtor websites and all that stuff to get me information, and it compiles all that data. So the AI agent is just giving a task, and it decides where and how to shop it to get it. And then the final part here is on the right there, it's the output of what it does. So that was my criteria. On the right, it shows you all its findings. It even does comparisons. This would be great for a realtor or even a salesperson to show all the pros and cons, or even size yourself up. You can click on the reports to view them. You can click on the website links to actually go to the website. Now that it's narrowed it down for you, you can download a PDF. You can start and resume your conversations from where it was before, because you have to go talk to your wife about it, or you want to share it with your wife first. And then you can even execute a match and notify prompt schedule. So I wanted this to be done every day. So when I wake up, it's already showing me what's available, because I want to, early bird gets the worm. Again, the one caveat for the marketers is now when you go to the website, all those click-throughs may not be humans. It may actually be AI shopping for them. And so your website must appeal to both human and AI eyes. And the AI now becomes top of the funnel. I'm going to pass this over to you, Anya.
So you guys, what happens when AI takes over home shopping process? So let's talk about how this will affect marketing people, how it will affect salespeople, and how it will affect leadership. So starting with marketing people, you now have to serve two masters. Just like John said, you need to be able to serve AI as well as people when they eventually get to your website. So what that means for you is that your website has to have structured data so that AI can understand it, but it also has to have emotional storytelling for when people get there. So if you guys think about Netflix and how it knows exactly what you're going to watch next, it's because it can understand your personal preferences. So your job is to make sure that AI can understand your homes the same exact way. So you want to think about the operator or any AI. Menace, what John showed you was Menace AI. There's an operator that was released, OpenAI, at the end of January. they both offer this autonomous shopping now, which is available right now. So some of your prospects are probably already doing this right now. So you want to think about this AI shoppers as your most detail-oriented prospect. Have you guys ever sold a home to an engineer before? Then you know what I'm talking about. You literally want to provide every single specification, answer every single question possible. It wants that kind of level of detail. So for marketing people, that means for you, you need to be able to make 3 big shifts in order to make that possible. Shift number 1 is you want to make sure that all of the information on your website is searchable. So when I say searchable, it has to be beyond 2 bedrooms and 3.5 baths. Every single option, every single detail has to be searchable to AI. If it's not searchable, it's moving on to the next website. Second thing is you cannot gate any of your content. You know how we love to put that, oh, if you want pricing or if you want something that's really important, you have to contact us. AI will not play that game. If it doesn't see it, if it's not readily available, again, it's moving on to the next website. And last thing you want to make sure is that all of your content is interactive, because when you just have generic content, static photos, it's just like showing a movie poster instead of showing the actual movie. So you want to make your experiences, your virtual tours, your digital design centers, experiences that AI can actually analyze. Every single stop, every question asked on that tour, it's like a digital body language that you have to be able to understand. Let's talk a little bit about salespeople next. So with salespeople, your role is really transforming now. You can imagine that your prospects will walk in through the door after having spent hours with their personal AI talking about your homes. So they'll know more about your community, your floor plans, and your options than ever before. So your value is no longer in information. Your value now is in inspiration. You want to make yourself irreplaceable in the world where your shoppers are both AI and human. So that means you have to be able to provide what AI cannot. And that's that personal lot recommendation based on how the sun sets there. It's telling stories about how other families actually live in those homes and providing that emotional support and emotional connection that, in fact, yes, you are making the right decision by purchasing this home. An example I like to give is in Shanghai, there's a steakhouse where robots slice your Wagyu beef with surgical precision, but the most expensive seat in the house is at the chef's table, where a human master creates once in a lifetime, unbelievable experiences. Once in a lifetime experiences. And that's how your role is evolving in new home sales. Just like Apple stores, they elevated the role of the salespeople there, not by eliminating the salespeople, but they actually raised them from simple cashiers to now experience creators. So you want to be that experience creator, create that emotional connection that AI cannot. That's going to be your biggest value as new home salespeople. And lastly, let's talk about leadership. So for leadership, this is really your Netflix moment. If you think back when streaming used to be optional, now it's literally a matter of survival. So this is the same thing with AI-enabled content. It is going to be life or death. Right now, it is optional. So in order for you to succeed in this new era, as leadership, what you'll need to do is concentrate on 3 biggest strategies. So strategy number 1 is you want to make sure that you have data infrastructure like Spotify's recommendation engine, but for new home sales. You want to understand your buyers better than they can understand themselves. Second thing is talent. You want to get the best people, and the best people want to work with the best technology. So today's young professionals, they want to work with companies that lead the future, not chasing after it. So if you want to attract the best possible talent, you need to have the best possible technology in order to attract that talent. And you really want to concentrate on creating culture of empathy and empower your employees to create those personal connections with your prospects. And the last thing you want to concentrate on is trust. When I say trust, it's not just building trust in your brand, but you also want to build trust in your technology, because nothing will destroy trust faster than that data breach. So when you're allowing your customers to personalize the homes on your website, tell them how they can do it, why you're using their data, how you're using their data, and let them know that you value their privacy just as much as you value their business. So this new shift, it's not just another tech investment. This is really fundamental shift in the way that people will not only search websites, but in the way that people will buy homes. So the winners will not be those with the most money, but those who understand that in order for you to succeed, you're going to need to make both AI and people fall in love with your homes. In this new world, you guys, you don't want to compete with AI. You want to make yourself irreplaceable in the world of AI. You want to concentrate on the skills that AI cannot touch, and that's liberal arts. For once in my lifetime, I'm grateful I got my liberal arts degree.
That's why we work well together. You do one side, I do the other side. It balances out.
Exactly. It's finally paying off for me. Now, you guys, I know we've covered a ton of information today, and we want to be respectful of your time. So if you want to learn more, of course, we recorded this webinar. We will send it out to you. Feel free to share it with your colleagues and friends. You can also follow us on LinkedIn. We often share information about AI and how it specifically affects new home sales and marketing. We also have our very own Beth GPT that we created. So if you're looking for a GPT that specializes in new home sales and marketing to tell you what you should do with your next marketing campaign or a sales promotion, ask Beth GPT and she'll be happy to guide you. It's free. And then also, of course, Anewgo podcast is where we talk every single week about technology and new home sales and marketing. And that's where you can dive in to learn more. We've discussed these topics in detail, especially the early foundational episodes where you can find a lot of this information if you're interested. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been my pleasure. Thank you guys again. We appreciate you being on here today, and we'll talk to you next time.
Okay, bye guys.
Bye.
Yeah.